I'm traumatized by a pickle. How could you?
These faces of judgment from me and Maddie.
I wanted to wait because some big moment. Now it's a big moment, like 30 subscribers.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Ella. We are homeschoolers. We met through a homeschool platform called Recess, where we found our passion for learning and podcasting.
Exactly.
Come join us on our journey of self-directed learning as we dive into all the things about recess on our
Recess Rundown Podcast.
and we will hopefully see you there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Recess Rundown. Today's amazing guest is Christopher. He's the community director at Recess and an amazing recess guide. You can always count to see him during the Recess Social Hour. Thank you for being with us, Christopher.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here. I'm honored.
So, I have been part of the recess community for over a year, and there has been so many great changes. One that sticks out the most is the creation of squads. Can you tell our listeners and us how squads were created?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure your listeners have seen your first two episodes, so they know kind of what Recess is all about. Squads is a program that we started because lots of kids who are coming in were homeschooled and didn't have a steady group of friends. So a group of people they got to see regularly. And as everything in Recess, spilled by kids and suggested by kids. So there were a group of kids in Recess who said, we really want to hang out with one group at least once a week, get to know them a little bit better. So that was the first squad. We decided we'd have a group that chose what game they wanted to play, when they wanted to meet, and go on. And it started with one, and now we're at like 12 different squads. Every group is slightly different because the kids decide what they do. So our guide's job is just to hang out, give you the right tools, help organize, and then to leave the rest up to you guys.
Squads was a good addition. It was. I'm in a squads. Ella, I think you're in one as well.
I am.
Yeah, I feel like Ella can talk all about Frog Squad. Definitely near and dear to my heart. I got to paint my nails with the frogs last week.
I had to take mine off. We painted our nails last week at my squad. We all did it. It was very fun. But I had to walk a dog right after that in like snow, like blizzard. So my gloves completely ruined my nail polish.
Oh, sad. Yeah, I didn't do a top coat like you guys told me, so I'm losing a lot too.
Christopher, why don't you listen to us?
How could you?
But I think actually I believe it was like credit to Chuck and Sarin and some of those guys who did the first squad. It's been really cool seeing groups of people who did not know each other at all hang out once a week, every week. Now for that one's been going on for over a year now, I think, and they're like good friends. The Frogs group has been together for 6 months minimum. I thoroughly enjoy getting to kind of interact and see these friendships form. It's been really cool.
I remember when cohorts were introduced to recess. We had to learn the engineering game Mindustry. It was like a good game, but it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it as much as the other people.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I've tried Mindustry once with my brothers because they both enjoy it, and nope.
So I think that's part of the magic of squads is you're right, like it did start with those Mindustry cohorts, and we quickly figured out it's not everyone's game. It's amazing. I will definitely say if you've never tried it, you should. But we found out not everyone wants to play that game, but they do want that group. Say, hang out with the same group of people once or maybe twice a week. Just know that you're gonna see the same familiar faces and get to like build off of that. And all of those things came from kids asking. So the first one started with Mindustry, and then it progressed from there.
Some kids just want to socialize and have fun.
And that's like kind of the coolest thing, Maddie, about squads is a couple of our squads are purely social. People just want to hang out. They want to get to know each other. They want to talk about art that they've created or games they're playing. Other people want to get really deep into a game. So our teen cohort picked a game called Void Crew, which is like a really intense. You fly a spaceship and have to fight as a team, and it's really difficult. And they did a deep dive into that game and played it a lot. The Frog Squad, like Ella is, we started off with some games, and now it's genuinely just we get to hang out and see our friends once a week. Um,
Yes,
and
as we
like
call it yap time.
we do call it, yeah. But that's like a, I don't know. That's kind of the magic of what these squads are. Is we don't come into it with any kind of mindset, and the kids in the group get to make what happens. Like I just learned how to play Terraria from one of our squads, one of the Monday squads. Never knew I loved that game, but it's like one of my favorite games now.
Yeah, Terraria is a good game. I like it. I enjoy
I don't know what that is.
it.
We have to get Ella into Terraria, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like Minecraft.
Maddie's always trying to get me to play cozy games and
Yes,
stuff like that.
that's all I play is cozy games.
Maybe we'll get Ella there someday.
Yeah, I only play cozy games except Lethal Company, which is
You play Lethal Company and then only cozy games. What a
yeah.
dichotomy.
Some other The Legend of Zelda, but that's just like and Mario, but that's kind of like a must.
Fair. Yeah, agreed. Like those Nintendo games, everyone's got to try at least once.
In your bio on the Recess website, it says that you curate the vibe of Recess. Can you explain what that um, is and what you do at Recess?
I wish that I could simply explain what I do at recess, but the answer is it changes every day, which is kind of why I love what I do. The Vibes Curator piece was actually a really funny comment from our CEO, Ben, when we were trying to. I think we had to fill out some official paperwork on what my job title was, and none of us could figure out actually what we should call it because I'm not the CEO, I'm not a technical director, I'm not just a teacher. We couldn't figure it out, and so Ben decided to say like I was the recess vibes curator, and I take that responsibility seriously. I think genuinely that means I host often in the community hour. I make sure I'm there all the time. I try to introduce myself to everyone in the space, make sure they connect with someone else. So I kind of see my job as maybe in helping enforce or guide the code of conduct, helping introduce recessians to each other, bringing in new guides. I think I'm often the first person that like a new teacher or guide meets when they join the recess space. So kind of just making sure we're all on the same page. And I think like that is one piece that makes recess pretty special or sets it apart is the way that our code of conduct is written. It was made by you guys, not by the kids in the space. They decided what values and virtues and expectations they wanted. So instead of a list of rules that me or other guides enforce, it's really just a list of expectations that you all have for each other. And when I get to tell people about that in orientation, it's so much fun because most kids are used to having a list of rules they have to follow instead of a list of expectations they get to hold other people to and learn. So I think that's a big part of it is how we relate to each other, how we deal with conflict when it arises, how we treat each other with respect and different cultures from all over the world. So I think that's mostly where I see myself. Can I? Um, yeah, I think that's it.
I mean, yeah, back to like what you were saying about introducing kids to each other. I think just today you introduced me to a new kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Recess is kind of a crazy place. The community hour can have between 80 and 120 kids, depending on the day and who shows up. And if you're brand new walking into a space where there's 100 other people all already doing an activity and knowing what they're doing, that can be so daunting or like
Overwhelming.
overwhelming. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to be I want to make sure that anyone new who joins knows they can come find me and we can get into something together.
I
It's
mean, yeah,
awesome for
I've
me.
noticed that the recess social hour has grown like a lot of traffic. There's so many kids. How do you manage this? Have you had any challenges?
How do we manage growth? Is that the question?
Just, yeah, growth and just the amount of kids that are at recess.
Yeah, I think that is really important too, because of course we want to grow and we want to have as many kids as we can. And a big goal is to have thousands and thousands of kids all together sharing all of these things and working on great projects and pushing each other. This is great. But I think what's more important than that is how we grow and that we're intentional about it. So we want to make sure everyone that comes into the space has the same concepts. They know this is a free place where they're going to design their own education. They're going to choose what they want to pursue, who they spend their time with, how much time they spend there. And so I think the reason that it's successful and the reason you see the same faces coming back over and over is because kids that join know they have control over the experience. So I think that might be the answer is kids come in, like lots and lots of kids come into online programs all the time. You both have had experience in that way, being homeschoolers and lots of online programs. But I think the ones that really stick are the ones that make you feel important or special or like you have some kind of agency, like you get to choose. And that's what this space is. So it's kind of easy for me to introduce new kids when they join community hour and 10 other awesome kids are there to greet them and say hello and bring them into a game. Both of you do that regularly. Like 2 days ago, Ella, you were running a group of Gartic Phone with 4 people who you never met before. And we're being patient and letting them into our game and showing them how to play and dealing with tech issues. And those are not things that the guides have to do, right? That's things that you guys are doing. So I think the answer to that is how we grow is because we found really awesome kids and we put them together. And when really awesome people are together, good things happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things about the recess community hour. What I personally really like is that how you guys added portals and gather, so you can enter if you have a specific place to go, and if kids don't know exactly what to do, there's a space where they can meet other kids and then that feel the same way. And some kids have a specific reason that they're attending recess, like coding club. Kids are able to find their way around recess better than in the past, because then you have to like enter together and then walk around to it, where it's just like a straight direct teleportation portal. And I remember when I joined recess, it was a bit overwhelming. I didn't really know where to go, but it's gotten a lot way better now.
Yeah, and I hope like in the future we're gonna have you guys doing that onboarding stuff. So it's not me that greets the new kid, it's other kids. I think that makes it even more powerful.
I think I think having like a kid and a guide in a cohort or like even or a squad. I'm not actually sure what happens when you introduce new kids nowadays. But having a kid or 2 kids with a guide, I think that might like help kids a lot. Like to have someone they could talk to or like, because I think having a guide introduce you is fun, but if you have another kid, I feel like you can
It's
just,
better.
it's easier to connect.
Yeah, and I feel like having a kid introducing it sets the right precedent, right? Like we don't want you everyone in recess hanging out with me every time. We want them spending time with each other and building off of each other and introducing cool games and concepts and projects. So if a kid's the one greets you, that makes it even easier to jump right into it. I will say that's why when we run orientations, we have 2 forms. We have group orientation and one-on-one. The kids who come through group orientation almost always like find a group a little quicker because they're joining with 7 other kids who are all new at the same time and are having to find that first experience. Whereas if you join just one-on-one, all you've done at that point is talk to an adult for an hour, and now you're in this space and you don't know what's going on. I think there might be something to that. I think you're right.
We have been asking this same question to all of our guests you might have seen. Would you have wanted recess when you were a kid?
Absolutely. I'm sure you got to talk to Joanne and Kaylin about their education experiences, and mine was very different than both of theirs, right? I think it's kind of something cool about the whole recess team is none of us had the same education experience, but we all know if we could have had something, we want it to look way more like this than what we actually experienced. I went through traditional public schooling in the United States. I did. I moved around a lot when I was young because my dad was in the Navy. I went to a few magnet schools. I switched schools way too often. I think I was never in one school for more than 3 years. So I got to see people, but I never formed those really close bonds in school. All of that was outside. And I never really got to pursue what I wanted to learn. Um, so the idea of getting to pick out a course or a class or an interest and then just dive deep in that is so exciting to me. It's kind of what I do now that I'm an adult and I get to do it. I pick one topic and like learn everything I can. That just, I don't know how that doesn't sound amazing to you, right? Like, of course you want to choose what you're going to learn instead of someone telling you every single step in every class. So when I was in a freshman and a sophomore in high school, I did something called the International Baccalaureate Program, and we had 7 subjects in school, and all 7 of them were assigned to us. So we didn't get to choose anything that we studied. We knew exactly what we were going to do for the next 4 years of our life when we were 13 years old. It was crazy.
I I've never gotten to really graduate. I left school when I was like 2 years in, so like right before I joined grade one. So I didn't get to graduate, but I got an at home party instead, which was awesome. But and then I moved to online school for like 2 years or something, and then I started homeschool. But
So that's an interesting point. So graduation is something that you don't really do in online school.
yeah,
How do we duplicate or replicate that experience? That's a fun new project.
Actually, I think it was last year that a bunch of this homeschool mom in a group that my mom was part of had organized this graduation where kids of all ages could just come and wear the gowns and the hats, and they got a diploma. I think I there was a kid that I knew before recess, Daniel. He went there. I actually introduced him to recess. So
Wait, so is that like that graduation? Is that something that you guys would want to do?
it'll be awesome.
yeah, that would be cool. I think so. Yeah.
I've gone to graduated like last year, and it was like a homeschoolers, and you go, yeah, you got your coat and your hat and your diploma. It was just kind of awkward because you didn't get to sit with your parents, and then you had to wait like 1 hour of like kids presenting and doing things, which was cool and awesome. But then I was like getting kind of like, when are they gonna let me see my parents? What's
So,
happening?
do you know how many people are graduating with you?
A lot, like all the way up to like higher than like grade 8 or something,
Okay,
grade
yeah,
9 or
because I
something. Like,
I was gonna say the last graduation that I was supposed to go to was for university, and there were like 10,000 people graduating at the same time.
wow.
So the ceremony is like 6 hours. I don't know if that one's quite as exciting.
Yeah, mine was just 3 hours or something. We got to like eat after. The food was like okay. It was like just grocery bought, but I mean
Okay,
like
so oh, sorry.
it was okay. It was like the experience was really fun, but probably the one when I did at home was better.
Okay, so we need a recess graduation where we get the fun stuff, but not the negative stuff. We have a new project to try. I'm into it.
Okay. So another thing from your bio, we saw that you were youth soccer coach. Did you always want to work with kids and just like do this kind of stuff, like teaching them and
Yeah, so my passion since I can remember has been working with kids and youth in lots of different ways. So I volunteered at my parents' church youth group when I was much younger. My grandma actually ran like a little like Sunday school daycare center at one of the churches, so I used to help with that all the time. I took care of my goddaughter for like 6 months while her mom needed some help. So I've always wanted to work with kids, and for a very long time, that passion was purely soccer. I helped run a soccer club in Florida in the United States for almost 10 years, and started off with a preschool program, so 3 and 4 year olds, and then I took on a new one that was up to 8 years old, and then on and on and on, and progressed to kind of all ages. So I coached a high school team in Florida, so 17, 18 year olds, and then all the way down to 2 and 3 year olds.
They're so cute, like running around on the
It
field.
is
I can just
tons of
imagine
fun
them.
to watch 2 and 3 year olds learn to play soccer, genuinely.
Yeah. I know my baby brother. We have like a like a soccer ball inside my house, and he likes to kick it around, and he usually plays with me or my brother Nate, and it's fun. It's cute, but he doesn't really get the theme. He just like I don't know,
So
like I miss a
that's the
ball, and then he's like,
secret.
"You lose."
Like that's the secret in the younger kids is don't even try to teach the actual rules, teach the basic concepts, and then once they learn all of that, then you introduce the game. So same way with incremental learning that we do in, let's say, the Mindustry cohort. You start not playing actual games of Mindustry, just learning the basic techniques. How do I mine this thing? How do I build this thing? And then as we get comfortable, we introduce the next level and the next level. So honestly, most of the education techniques I learned coaching soccer and running that academy are very transferable to what we do here, which is really cool.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grow up? And it's kind of like the same question, but like when you were a kid, did you expect to be like teaching kids?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know like a lot of kids knew they wanted to be something and kind of pursued that or like stuck to that for a while. I was never really that kid. I think if you asked my parents, they would tell you every week I would say something completely different, whether that was like a firefighter or an attorney or the president of the United States or a professional soccer player or whatever it was. Like this changed all the time. Um, I think I'm a little bit too high energy or distracted to stick with just one thing and pursue it, which is why this job is great for me. Um, but like I know Joanne and Kaylin had these awesome answers that I wanted to do this whole time. I genuinely had no idea what I wanted to do when I grew up and still don't. And I think that more people should think that's okay. I think that it is absolutely fine to change what you want to be when you grow up when you're 60 years old, and
Definitely.
so the same thing applies when you're 15 or 30 or 45.
So I see your van right next to you. You live in that van. Um, and we heard that you love to travel. Well, I don't think you could live in a van and not love to travel. Um, this sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I could do this. But did you like always that you were gonna live in a van and travel around?
Uh, that is another very good question. So I always knew I did not want to stay in one place forever. Where my dad retired and I lived for middle and high school was a very small town called Cantonment, Florida, with not a lot of people and not a lot going on. And I kind of always knew I didn't want to stay there. And so I quickly devised ways to travel and get all over the place. So first that was playing soccer and traveling to places in South America and Central America to play. Then it was going to school. And then my wife and I moved to England for 8 months and realized we could not stay in one spot for too long. And so this was like a really good option to make all of that happen.
When this is kind of like a follow-up question. When did you start living in a van?
So my wife and I sold our house in Tallahassee in I think March of 2024. So it really hasn't been that long. We bought our van and then sold our house 2 weeks later and have been traveling since.
Awesome.
What places have you traveled to? I'm very interested to know. And are there any other places that you want to go, like a favorite place?
That is so hard to answer. So over the last 6 months, my wife and I started in Chicago, Illinois, traveled to LA and California, drove all the way up the Pacific coast to north of Seattle. We got to stay in the San Juan Islands, and I was like, put our van on a ferry and stayed on an island for a couple weeks, and we could see Victoria Island, Canada. And then from there, we drove all the way back across, and we're in Florida again. So we've gone the whole western half of the United States, and now we're going to drive up the East Coast. I will say one of the coolest things about working at Recess and living like this is getting to meet lots of people I see all the time on the computer in real life. Like, for example, right after this interview, I'm going to meet with Jack H. and his mom, who have been at Recess for almost 2 years now. And we're going to meet for dinner in Orlando because they just happened to be here at the same time I was. And I've gotten to have dinner with Matthew and a few other people along the way, and I've got lots of plans to see more. And next,
what about
we're up
Canada?
in the north.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Canada is up next because I got to go visit Finn and you guys.
Yeah, like, come on, you're meeting all these other kids and not us.
Maybe
Christopher.
I'm gonna say maybe we have a follow-up interview in person.
Oh,
that would be fun. Except, like, we would all have to we'd have to grant a place because me and Maddie live like an hour and a half away from each other.
Maybe we'll meet at Finn's place.
Hour and a half?
I know it's not like right in between, but we can all meet at Finn's house and do an interview.
It's like 5 hours away.
I'm gonna be driving from Florida. I think that's a little bit longer of a drive.
wow.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Hey, talking about like traveling and stuff, I might go to. I went to Mexico last year in September, and my family is thinking of going again this year. Yeah, so I think we'll go to Cancun or something like that.
Very cool.
That's nice.
My wife Jessica and I have been talking about going to Mexico for the winter next year. So we're going to be up north all winter this year and cold. So next winter we're thinking maybe like Baja, Mexico.
I usually never travel around Christmas time and stuff. Because I have like lots of family here, so it's like usually I stay here, and I kind of like the cold-ish. Depends how cold it is. It can get pretty cold in Canada, right, Ella?
Like, it can. It's freezing. It's like blizzarding outside my window right now.
That might come to me.
Oh no. That I will not come visit you in Canada in the middle of winter. I'll probably wait till it gets a little warmer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, summer is probably like a good, that's a good in the between. Or fall
Summer,
even.
I feel like September is the best time of year to come visit because the schools, they've gone back. And like, most of the tourists aren't really here.
Yeah.
But the weather is still so nice.
Pretty
it's
good.
Not too hot or too cold. And towards the end of September, you get that like proper like autumn red and yellow.
Right.
Beautiful, serene.
We'll put it on the books. We'll get
too long.
It's too long.
You told me September is when I need to come, and now you're
telling me
to come before.
March. March is a lovely time of year. It's actually like the worst.
I bet it's very cold in March and like rainy and not even snowy.
We still get snow in April.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll see. I don't know. We're gonna be up in the northeast of the United States, so it'll be cold. Maybe not that cold, but we'll get some snow.
Mm-hmm. I have heard that you were dared to eat a whole pickle sandwich on the community hour, during the community hour. What was that? Like, did you like the sandwich? What was it like?
I have to admit, I did not enjoy the sandwich. So that was actually because of Ella and one of our friends, Willow, who comes to the community hour. It is very well documented in Recess that I do not like pickles, and I have a good reason for it, I will say, but pickles are not my thing. I did make a deal with Ella and Willow that if they did something for me, then I would eat a peanut butter and pickle sandwich at Recess.
It's not okay. If you don't like pickles, my headphone fell out. If you don't like pickles, I can understand that. But peanut butter and pickles, it's not bad. Willow introduced it to me, and it's not bad.
Yeah, I will say it's better than eating just a plain pickle. So, like, I'll give you that.
I find plain pickles better, but like peanut butter and pickles, two of my favorite things. Like I literally have peanut
Yeah.
butter
Peanut butter is
like
the best.
all the
Yeah,
time.
peanut butter is like real high up on the list for me, but pickles are like one of the lowest. So it kind of got like somewhere in the middle.
I'm traumatized by a pickle. One time, yeah, I'm traumatized. One time, I was eating a pickle, I bit into it, the inside was literally like squishy and hollow
Oh, yeah,
and
those aren't
full
the
of
good
juice. Like,
pickles.
it was disgusting. It tasted so bad. Yeah, I was traumatized, but
So, Maddie, have you had a peanut butter and pickle sandwich?
no, it sounds fun,
You might
You
have
know
to.
but
what? Next episode, next thing, we're making you. We're gonna
no.
make you.
Yeah, that's such a good
I
idea.
don't, half the time I don't have peanut butter at my house because Nate's allergic.
You have time to prepare. We can. What about almond butter?
No, we don't have that.
I'm just saying, you have time to prepare. I think Maddie eating a peanut butter and pickle sandwich for the podcast makes sense.
I would do it at my grandparents'. I can film myself eating it.
You know, or you
And
could
get my
come to
reaction.
my house. I have so much
Oh.
peanut butter. I have smooth, crunchy,
Oh yeah,
all the
definitely.
types.
Okay, I
Mm,
will say though, Maddie, I had like 60 kids all run up and chant at me while I was eating this sandwich. So if you're trying to get viewers, that might be like, might be a good way to go.
I mean, well, this okay. It only started because you had again like I'm 60 kids all message me with have you watched Hamilton yet? This was the whole bet. I had to watch Hamilton and then he would eat
And
the
like, give
sandwich.
me a good explanation of what you thought about the show. And you did that thing. So I had to own up to my side of the bargain.
well, if I eat a peanut butter and pickle sandwich, you have to do something.
What is the thing? Wait, but you like pickles and peanut butter. That doesn't
Well,
seem.
not typically pickles. I'm still traumatized. Him,
I
but
think my pickle trauma might even surpass your pickle trauma, Maddie.
can we hear it?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, my mom, like a lot of parents in the U.S. do, they'll if you like say a bad word they don't like, you have to eat soap or something. And my mom decided
Oh
instead
yeah.
of making you eat soap, I had to drink vinegar. So anytime I said something that my mom or dad didn't like, I would have to drink a large amount of vinegar. And my whole life, I just associated vinegar with bad things, and the smell of vinegar, the taste of vinegar, all of it. So it's not just pickled pickles; it's like all pickled things.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh,
love vinegar and
I know.
vinegar potato chips. It's like the
Salt and
best.
vinegar, they're like the best.
Hmm.
The Miss
So
Vickies.
Oh
salt
my
and
god,
vinegar
you like
potato
them.
chips are like I smell the bag being open and I have to leave the room.
No.
And my wife hates it because she loves pickles. It just really doesn't work out.
Okay, well, to be fair, salt and vinegar is not the best flavor. It's sour cream and onion.
Sour cream and onion?
Sour cream and onion is like my number 2 or 3.
How dare you?
Okay, you
Okay,
know what's
well,
really the best is truffle, like salt
Oh,
and truffle. Have you guys had truffle chips?
I've
I've
had.
had truffle fries.
It's like that, but in chip form. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's really good, but
Hmm.
still.
Okay, ending on that note, Christopher, would you like to play a game? I'm ready. So, it's called Taboo. You know what we're playing. Have you played it before?
I have played taboo before, but am I supposed to pronounce it the Canadian way and say taboo?
Um, no, I don't know. It sounded the same when you said it.
Wait,
But
Maddie,
look, I'm
what is
not
this
I'm
game
not
called?
Canadian, so I don't know.
I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
Maddie, how do you say the name of this game that we're playing?
Taboo.
Okay, I'm just saying taboo and taboo. Those are different.
No, not taboo. No.
Taboo. Okay,
All
deal.
right.
It's
All right, I'm
taboo.
calling it taboo. I got you.
All
Okay.
right. Anyway,
I have your PDF.
so as you know, this game is usually played in teams. We're gonna change it a little.
Kind of like what Brianda does.
Yeah, for Creative Genesis.
Yes.
I still hold the record of
You did?
14. I hold the record of the most taboo cards guessed in
I
a
have
certain amount
9.
of
My
time.
record's 9.
Dang, 14 is an intense record.
Okay, so we've emailed you a few taboo cards. You'll have to go through as many as possible and describe the secret word to Maddie without using any of the related taboo cards. You can't use sounds, gestures, drawings, rhymes with, sounds like, ends with, starts with. You get it.
Okay, deal. And it's just Maddie guessing, or it's both of you?
I'm guessing. I'm
Okay.
just guessing.
Yeah, just because
Um,
I'm like overseeing. I'm making sure that no one's
You're the coach.
cheating.
Kind of like what we did with Kaylin.
So you see the same words that I see, Ella?
No.
No, she doesn't.
How are you going
I'm
to make sure I'm not cheating then?
Well, we
Well,
trust
she was.
you.
Yeah, we
We
trust.
trust you.
Okay,
Well,
that's
this
fair.
was.
You, Christopher.
I
Well, I
appreciate the
know.
trust.
I know 2, but that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
deal. I got you. I understand
All
the
right.
rules.
3, 2, 1. Start.
Okay, it is not rain. We just talked about it, and Ella can see
Blizzard.
it out her window.
Blizzard?
Smaller version of that, or a singular.
Snow? Snowing?
It is that, but one instance of that.
Hail?
Okay, so it is one piece of that thing that lots of it accumulated. You can sled on or ski on. It falls from the sky.
Snow?
Yeah, no, well, sort of. That's the first half.
Ice?
Okay, so you said the first half of the word. It's like 2 words combined. All right.
Snowman?
All right, I'm skipping it for our time. Okay, this is something that happens if you don't have lunch or dinner.
Breakfast?
You are this thing if you don't have lunch or dinner in a day.
Fasting?
This is something that you experience if you have not.
Hunger?
Yeah. Okay. Nice. This is not a quail. It can be rubber and can be a bathtub toy.
Rubber ducky? Rubber
Yeah.
ducky?
Oh wait. Okay. Not rubber. So I said the word rubber, so it's not that. The second half of that. Yep. Perfect. This is something that go. Okay, I got to skip that one. That one's hard. Ella does this in performances when she's in news. Yes, but
Talking?
not quite. So it is a movement that happens with your body while you're in a show.
Dancing.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. This is a
Time.
thing that.
Oh.
How many did we get?
3. We can do way better than that.
Only.
Ready? Okay, starting the timer.
Gotta be 3.
Beat 3 or
Okay.
something.
Okay, let's do this.
Timer starts in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, this is a thing that you cover yourself
Jacket.
in. Yeah, nice. This is a game that I used to teach
Soccer.
for 10 years. Nice. This is if you let milk get moldy, then you eat it.
Oil? Cheese.
Yeah, nice. Okay, this, do you know escargot? What is that made of?
Oh, snail.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's allowed. You can't do like different languages.
But does escargot mean snail, or is it like the eaten, like, you know what I mean?
Your time's ticking.
Time. Okay. This is a really giant lizard that's old.
Dragon.
It did exist at some point.
A dinosaur.
Yeah, nice. Okay. This Broadway is here. Broadway is in this place.
New York.
Yeah. I am this to Jessica.
Husband.
Yeah. Okay.
Gosh, you're getting so much easy ones.
Jessica was this to me before she was my wife.
Girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
30 seconds.
This is an animal that you would see on a safari, maybe with spots.
Cheetah.
Leopard.
Leopard.
Another instance of that, it's much bigger and higher.
What?
Its head.
But you know this.
Leopard.
It's a spotted animal that can eat things high up off the ground easily.
3, 2, 1. Giraffe.
Oh.
Okay, we
Okay.
got 3 though. I'll take that.
You got like 7.
But come from the land of safaris.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But okay, cheetah, but you can eat food higher up. I feel like that was good.
I don't know. Like
So long,
my
and
headphones keep falling out.
I'm just saying.
How did you guys get that far? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think we had 8. No, 7.
You got like 7.
Well, there was one that was debated.
You got an easy one. You got all the easy ones.
Why'd you
Yours
put
were
all the
hard.
hard ones first?
It was mixed, actually. It was
Oh, that's
mixed.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys before we end our interview. I didn't really get to understand what inspired you wanting to do a podcast, and follow up, why recess related.
I always like the fact, like, oh, podcasts would be really fun. And then I joined recess. Well, no, I was already in recess. I was more into recess. Like, I knew more kids in recess. And I met Ella. And I thought Ella would be a good partner to do a podcast with. And so I asked her.
Messaged me.
And then we started chatting. We're like, hey, do you want to do a podcast? And then you're like,
Absolutely,
yeah.
I do.
Like, you want to do a podcast?
And we're like, yeah, I want to do one. And so we started, like, we discussed, like, oh, what do you want it to be related? And then we're like, recess is an awesome site. We can do stuff at recess. And we can interview people. I like asking questions, so yeah.
So Ella, did it take a lot of convincing for you from Maddie, or did she suggest it and you were like, yeah, let's go?
Yeah, I think I was like, oh, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah,
like it wasn't...
Also, okay, I'm going to ask you like 2 more questions. I know this is your podcast, so I won't like do a whole interview.
No, please
curious.
ask
Go ahead.
When you guys met, was it after you were both in Creative Genesis? Is that how you guys became friends?
When we both were in Creative Genesis, I met up with her in Creative Genesis to plan.
I feel like it was also Bridget's art lessons.
True. I feel like
Yeah.
Bridget and Brienne are both really incredible people at recess to like form those types of connections. I know so many people have made really cool projects coming out of both of their like little sub communities. Wait, I have one more question. That's so interesting. I forgot that you guys met up in person and you did that like recess meetup. Was that like really important? Do you feel like you formed a closer connection meeting in real life as opposed to just having classes online?
Not really.
We didn't really
talk. We just took one photo together, like, hi,
It
okay,
was
let's take a photo now.
Yeah, Maddie was kind of hanging out with like
Nate,
and then her cousin Isabel.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really know anyone. It was just like Alex and then you. So
yeah, I didn't either. I was like, wait, Alex Ginger?
You didn't know?
I'd never seen his face. Never.
What? Okay, this is a big thing. We got to figure out how to get more people at recess to have their cameras on so we can actually recognize people in real life. What if I like never knew what you looked like and we were passing each other on the street? I would want to say hello.
Okay, that's too far.
I don't know about me. I'm all over the place. I really could be running into people. Okay, so are you going to start interviewing kids and like, or are you sticking with just the adults?
We can't leak that.
Yes.
We'll do after we record. Sorry, kids, whoever's watching.
It's
private. We can't tell you.
Private information. I can't remember. What are you supposed to say?
For what?
Classified. It's classified information.
Yes.
Oh, it's classified information?
Yes.
So when I ask that question, are you going to do like a little graphic that's like classified?
Well, yeah, we got to bleep out what you say. Bleep. It's
You
classified.
should. That'll like get people interested. Also,
Yeah.
good
Okay.
idea.
Maybe I'll do that. Hopefully, I don't forget.
We've talked about that. We're gonna do a whole blooper reel of like the stuff that
Fun.
we've cut out of
Yeah.
like the other podcasts
We
Right.
will.
episodes.
One of your
I
first 5
told you.
subscribers. I'm pumped to see the rest of the episodes.
Yes.
Pretty excited to be in the first 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. By
Yeah.
the way, I was your 30th subscriber.
Oh,
Our
Maddie.
30th subscriber.
I was going to rat out Ella, but I forgot until right now. Ella today, I found out, did not even subscribe to the Recess Rundown podcast.
Yeah. How could you? How
I'm
could you?
sorry. I watched. I still watched
Go
it.
ahead
I
and
was
explain
just
yourself,
like,
Ella.
I
Do you
didn't.
see these faces of judgment from me and Maddie?
I'm smiling.
I wanted to wait because some big moment. Now it's a big moment. Like 30 subscribers. I wanted to be like the
Well,
special one. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay.
anyway.
It's the end of the episode. Thank you for Christopher for being on the Recess Rundown podcast. It was really fun to have our viewers get to know you and talk with you.
Absolutely. I loved it.
We've learned so much cool things about you, and this is for the viewers. If you are part of the Recess community and would like to be on our show, please email me, Ella and Maddie, at recessrundown@gmail.com or message us on the Recess platform, and we will make sure to get you on the show.
Please
100%.
like and subscribe, not like Ella.
Excuse me, you interrupted me. I was about to say the same thing. Okay, please like and subscribe so we can get to more than 30 subscribers. Just so you know, I was the 30th. I'm special.
Very special.
Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.